It seems like it's becoming a trend for former NBA players to hang up their jersey and then just buy a microphone, pay someone to set up a podcast for them, and then try to relive their glory days in the NBA by talking trash about the league or certain players. And there is absolutely nobody in the NBA media more annoying than Gilbert Arenas right now. Gilbert Arenas is living proof that great players are not going to be great analysts, and they should sometimes just leave the game. He really needs to stick to just terrorizing Nick Young's kids instead of terrorizing my ears with some of the worst takes that he's ever said. And he does this on his podcast called No Chill with Gilbert Arenas. I mean, hey, at least they didn't lie in the podcast title. One of his recent takes that he said on his podcast makes me question if Gilbert Arenas really even played in the league because it is so atrocious. With the Chicago Bulls running the East, having 6 championships in the 90s, and in the West, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson, and Charles Barkley were absolutely abusing their opponents. Gilbert Arenas went and said that he would score 100 in the 90s.
How much did you average in the 90s?
In the 90s?
Yeah.
100. With my skill set and these guards, with 28-inch vertical, what am I dealing with here?
100 in the 90s. I don't know if Gilbert Arenas is aware, but he was drafted in 2001, and that's only 2 years away from the 90s. It's really not that different of a league when he came in. Since leaving the league, I don't know if he forgot how tough it was because the 90s were not easy. There was real high-level competition, and I mean, I don't think that you're beating anybody in the East because you're not going to get past Jordan. All Gilbert Arenas is doing is talking so much that even Super Hot Fire himself had to come out of retirement and put him back in place.
Okay.
Psych! I've been paid. I put the heat to his face, give him flashbacks to D-Wade.
But even after this, he came back with a take that is somehow worse than his other ones. Talking about LeBron James, he said to be that guy that closes out games, you have to be a one-on-one player, indicating that first, LeBron is not an option to close out games, and second, that LeBron can't beat people one-on-one.
To be that guy, to be the guy who ends games, right? You have to be a one-on-one player.
Yes, for sure.
He is not the one-on-one player.
Like, come on, I'm not a LeBron fanboy at all. I actually used to be against LeBron for a while. He really earned my respect in the 2018 playoff run, but like, are you kidding me? LeBron is literally the all-time leader in points scored in the NBA, so I think he can get a bucket one-on-one. And also in clutch time, Bron has a rough total of 2,439 points, and he leads the NBA in the most playoff game-winning buckets. For someone that has played LeBron for the majority of his career, because Gilbert Arenas played in the East and so did LeBron, this is crazy. Like, did you forget how good Bron is at basketball? Like, and another person that I guess he really doesn't like and he doesn't think that's good at basketball either is Giannis. He said that he'd be damned if he paid $50,000 a week to train with Hakeem Olajuwon to go and travel, with Gilbert Arenas referring to a preseason play against the Lakers where it looks like Giannis dragged his leg. First of all, this wasn't even a travel. If anything, it's a foul on Christian Wood with an obvious push here, but Giannis's leg stays down. Second of all, he's spreading misinformation because Hakeem did not charge Giannis $50K for a workout. Another time, about a year ago today, Gilbert Arenas trashed on Giannis once again, saying that he doesn't understand the game within the game and that he's not developed yet. Following that up with saying, is he smarter than Chris Paul? Is he smarter than LeBron James? Is he smarter than Curry, Clay, Draymond?
He doesn't understand basketball yet. He plays the sport. He won a championship. Cool. He doesn't really understand how to be great.
He also somewhat indicated that Giannis was not in shape, saying that his game time minutes in the past 5 years are just not enough, saying that he's probably the only superstar that didn't hit 40 minutes in the regular season last year.
To be here, you have to train your body to at least 38 minutes and above.
First of all, Giannis being the 2-time MVP, the Finals MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, the Most Improved Player of the Year, I can't even put into words how stupid this take is. Like, you think that Giannis has not developed his game mentally or physically. There is literally nothing left that Giannis needs to do, and he will finish to be a top 20 player of all time. Every single year, Giannis has become a more willing passer, and that's a huge reason why he won in 2021. That shows his mental part of the game. And physically, he's put on 50 pounds of muscle since he's entered the league, and he would play every minute in the game if the coaches let him. The FBI needs to raid this podcast and take away all these microphones. But don't worry, Gilbert is far from done, and this time he's speaking about another 7-footer, one of the best players of our generation, and one of the best of all time. Gilbert Arenas said that Carmelo Anthony is a more skilled scorer than Kevin Durant. He said that you would go Melo because he had a 4-level, 5-level scoring. What it comes to is who is the most complete scorer. He's gonna say Melo. I'm gonna take KD. I mean, I know this is one of the few takes that you can go either way on. It's not so crazy like the other ones, but seriously, you have to take the 7-foot demigod instead of Melo. Even though, don't get me wrong, I love a hezzy, I love a quick step back by Melo, I love that triple threat, and he's one of the best scorers to ever live. But Kevin Durant, who's able to handle the ball like a guard, he's 7 foot, can shoot over anybody, he can be in the post, he can ISO, he can cross people up. There's just no way that you can beat that. There's no way that you can just beat some superstars. And superstars is a common thing that Gilbert Arenas likes to talk about, saying that the Heat need to acquire more superstars and stop worrying about their role players. So you're saying that you need to worry about like 2 players on the whole team? The Heat have a patented system of finding low-level or undrafted players and turning them into pure hoopers. Look at Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, players that just exploded out of nowhere. Role players are what makes up a team, are what makes up a championship team too. No championship would have been won without role players. MJ had passed to Steve Kerr. Without Michael, looks open to me, Porter Jr., the Nuggets do not win the chip. This is just an awful take. You need players that are not stars on your team. It's just simple common knowledge, something that I think a former NBA player would know. But finally, to give my man Gilbert a break, I'll end it with something that was actually good, something that I agree with. He roasted Rashad McCants when he said that his team in Lebanon could compete versus the defending champion Denver Nuggets.
Who did you play for?
I play for a lot of teams.
No, what's your name one?
Lebanon.
Lebanon. What was the name of your team?
Commitment.
Commitment. Do y'all team can beat the Denver Nuggets?
We have a chance.
Do you can now get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of here.
Let's
Y'all
move
lose
on,
by
man.
200.
Let's
Stop.
move on.
Like, come on, man. There's no way that Lebanon is facing up against Jokic. He's going for 70, 30, and 10. But the other 99% of his takes are absolute garbage, and he really needs to just have his podcast mic stripped away. His takes are just so obviously filled with jealousy for players that are still in the league, and he's just trying to relive his glory days on the Wizards. So please, stop tearing down people in the NBA, and Gilbert Arenas, shut up.